Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالشَّمْسُ تَجْرِي لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا. And the sun runs to a term that has been appointed, or an axis which has been appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the sun rotates on a specific axis, and everybody knows that the sun has a specific situation, it remains therein, لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا. And that's the phenomenon that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making reference to over here as well, that the sun rotates on its axis, لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا, on a specific point. ذَلِكَ تَقْدِيرُ الْعَزِيزِ الْعَلِيمِ. That happens to be the decree of the one who is ever mighty and also ever wise and ever knowledgeable as well. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ensured that this sun remains in one place. Now the fact that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was given knowledge of this 14 centuries ago, that is in and of itself a miracle. Because 14 centuries ago, a person that's observing the sun will just see the sun coming out of one place and setting in another. Coming out of one direction and going down the other. Coming out of the east and going down in the west. That's all that could be seen by the naked eye. But the reality is that it's more than that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in the Quran, Allah has placed it in a specific situation. Allah has placed it on a mustaqar. And we know that the sun is literally on a specific axis and it remains there, but it rotates. Okay? لِمُسْتَقَرٍّ لَهَا ذَلِكَ تَقْدِيرُ الْعَزِيزِ الْعَلِيمِ. And that is the decree of the one who happens to be ever mighty and ever knowledgeable as well. That's Allah. Then he says, وَالْقَمَرِ. As for the moon, قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلِ. We have decreed specific situations for it. We have decreed specific phases for it as well. And those phases, they continue until the moon goes back to حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْعُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ, until it goes back to an old date stock. Okay, and an old date stock literally has this curvy type of angle to it, similar to when the moon happens to be in that phase as well. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing over here. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it comes to the moon, because the moon orbits, Allah doesn't say it's on a specific situation or in a specific place as well. Rather, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Allah has made phases for the moon. And that's exactly what you observe. But with the sun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Allah has placed it in a specific place. So there's a bit of a difference there. And that's totally in line with what we know today. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues and He says, لَا الشَّمْسُ يَنْبَغِي لَهَا أَن تُدْرِكَ الْقَمَرِ. It's not appropriate for it's not befitting, and this won't happen, that the sun ends up catching up to the moon, and the night is not going to come before the day as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has fixed a certain nizam, a certain pattern. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a specific system for all of these things, and they have been continuing on within that system for centuries on end. When we place a system, even in like a board, when we place a system even within a company, you have to make sure that system is being followed, and no matter how much you make sure the system doesn't get followed. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created these huge creatures, and Allah has given them specific tasks, and they do that task. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the sun is not going to catch up to the moon, because we already know that the sun is actually not orbiting in the same way that the moon is. Rather, it's in a specific location, and the moon is that which orbits, right? So the sun will never end up catching up to the moon. That will never happen. وَلَا اللَّيْلُ سَابِقُ النَّهَارِ. And nor will the night come before the day, meaning that you will never have night and day at the same time. If one comes, the other leaves.